Hello students, today in this class we are going to learn a new topic, and before that I'm going to show you one video. Okay, please observe the video carefully, and then I'm going to ask you questions based on the video. So in the video you can see fire, big flames of fire, right? So I've got a question to you. What is fire? Fire is the visual effect of combustion. Okay, we can say it is the visual effect, or we can say it is the product, okay, of combustion. When you burn something, what comes out? The product is fire, right? Fire is useful and dangerous. Do you agree? Yes, fire is useful. In what ways? When you are cold, you get yourself near the fire and you feel warm. Yes or no? You want to cook food, you will have to use fire. People in the villages, they use firewood and they make fire for cooking, right? So, different purposes of fire. So, we can say that fire is useful. Fire is also dangerous. Do you agree? Yes, because you might have seen wildfire. What happens? Okay, it destroys everything. And if you get near the fire, you might yourself get burned. Or you might have seen people getting burned in fire. And you might have seen houses on fire, right? So you can say that fire is also dangerous. It is useful, but it is also at the same time dangerous. How did we discover fire? What do you think? How did our early humans discover fire? I do believe early humans might have thrown some stone and hit against another stone and sunlight coming out. And from that, they got to discover fire. So we have learned that fire is both useful and it is also dangerous. So the chapter that we are going to learn is about fire, and the title is Fire, Friend and Foe. So fire is both useful and dangerous, so we can call that fire is our friend. But fire is also dangerous. We say that fire is a foe, an enemy, right? So foe means enemy. Early man didn't know what fire was, but he must have seen the damage it could cause. He must have watched lightning and volcanoes long before he began to use fire himself. Fire was powerful and dangerous, and he was frightened. Fire may have puzzled early man, but we know now that fire is the result of a chemical reaction. So I have highlighted some words over here, and I want you to learn the meanings of these words. We have got damage, we have got lightning, volcanoes, powerful, dangerous and puzzled. Okay, if you look at this picture, the first picture, you can see it's written danger, and there is skeleton over there. So danger means something that can cause injury to you. Look at the second picture. You can see this man is surprised to see something happening to his house. His house is in damage. So damage means some kind of destruction is being caused. Then the next picture, you can see some flash of lights over there. So we can say these flash of light is lightning. In this next picture, what can you see? You can see a hill on fire. A hill is producing hot lava, which we call a volcano. So you can see over here, damage means the physical harm that impairs the value, the usefulness or normal function of something. The lightning, it is a giant spark of electricity in the atmosphere between clouds, the air or the ground. Volcano, it is an opening in the earth's crust through which molten lava and hot steam escape. Powerful, having great strength. Dangerous, able or likely to cause harm or injury. Puzzled, confused, unable to understand something. So I want you now to frame sentences using these words. So like for damage, you can say, my car is being damaged due to the accident. Right? So this can be one sentence that you can frame. So what is the gist of this first passage? The gist is that early man does not have any knowledge about fire, but he must have seen, he must have witnessed the damage caused by fire. And you could see that yes, fire is dangerous, fire is powerful, and he is puzzled. What is this fire, right? But he does not know, like we know in the present times, that fire is the result of a chemical reaction, right? So the important point that you need to remember from this is that fire is the result of a chemical reaction, right? Let's answer to these questions. Fill in the blanks. He must have watched dash and dash long before he began to use fire. He must have watched lightning. So the first answer is lightning and dash. Dash, volcanoes. So he must have watched lightning and volcanoes long before he began to use fire. The second question. Fire may have dash early man. What can be the answer? Fire may have puzzle. P-U-Z-Z-E-D. So let's read the next passage. When the oxygen in the air combines with carbon and hydrogen in a fuel, a chemical reaction takes place. Energy in the form of heat and light is released in the process. This is what we call fire. Three things are needed to make fire: fuel, oxygen, heat. Wood, coal, cooking gas, and petrol are some examples of fuel. Oxygen comes from the air. That is why when you blow on a smoldering paper, it often bursts into flame. The third thing needed to make fire is heat. So what can you understand from this passage? So in this passage, basically it is talking that fire is the result of a chemical reaction that we have just learned in the previous passage, right? And how is that reaction formed? When the oxygen combines with carbon. So oxygen combines with carbon and hydrogen. Okay, so when the oxygen combines with carbon and hydrogen in a fuel. So in a fuel, a chemical reaction takes place. And what is that chemical reaction? We have got the product as heat, light, and this we call as fire. The writer is also mentioning the three things needed to make fire. So what are those? We have the first one, fuel. The second one is oxygen. And the third one is heat, right? So these three things are needed in order to make fire. If one of them is absent, there will be no fire. Suppose there is oxygen, there is heat, but if there is no fuel, there can be no fire. If fuel is there, but oxygen is there, but no heat, there can be no fire. So, in order to make fire, these three things must be present, right? One of them should not be absent. All the three things should be present in order to make fire. So I want you to provide me the antonyms of the following words. Combine. What is the antonym of the word combine? It is separate. Heat, coldness. Light, darkness. Release, imprison. Fire, what? So I've got a question. According to the passage, which of these is not needed to make fire? Keep in mind the word not. Which is not needed to make fire? It is light. Because we need fuel, we need oxygen, we need heat, but we don't need light in order to make fire. So let's read the next passage. Fuel and oxygen do not make fire by themselves, or else a newspaper or a stick lying in the open would catch fire on its own. To burn a piece of paper or wood, we heat it before it catches fire. We generally do it with a lighted match. Every fuel has a particular temperature at which it begins to burn. This temperature is called the flash point or kindling temperature of the fuel. So what is flash point? It is the temperature at which a fuel begins to burn. Okay, so temperature at which fuel begins to burn. So if I ask you, I have taken these words from the passage. So which syllable to be accentuated? Fuel. So fuel, we stressed on the first syllable. Oxygen. So oxygen, we also we stress on the first oxygen. Newspaper, we also stress on the first syllable. Generally, we also stress on the first. Temperature, we also stressed on the first. Kindling, we also stressed on the first. And particular. So that is how you should pronounce these words with the correct accentuation. So a question to you. What do we do in order to burn a piece of wood? We heat the paper or the wood till it catches fire. What do you understand by the term the flash point of fuel? It is the temperature at which the fuel begins to burn. So today we have learned about fire, right? And we have learned the meaning of fire. Fire is the result of a chemical reaction, the visual effect of a combustion. We have also learned the three things that are needed to make fire. We have got fuel, we have got oxygen, and we have got heat. Fuel, oxygen, and heat. So for your homework, I want you to go home and discuss with your grandparents and elders and collect information of the various uses of fire in the olden times. Then tabulate the differences, similarities of the use of fire in the olden times and at present. So complete your homework, and when you have completed, mail your homework to this email ID, hormat@gmail.com. I hope you're clear. So thank you so much. We're going to meet in the next presentation.